because back then I remember, like, I remember, like, I'll make an example.
Yeah.
Joe, I think I spent like good 5 years.
Five.
Because I had heard stories. Dog, khona le motho na ba khono ke na lo yena uli pay. Pepso tunu. Nyana strolo. Ba fitla Joe.
Yeah, sure.
Little ya Joe. Fast. Joe, those are stories that we used to hear. So we would never even date that side. I don't think that you'd never date that side. Why not? Dating. What Hey Joe, you asking for Jesus, dog. You cannot do that.
They would never come this side.
So
segregated.
Yeah,
in a
definitely.
way.
The good thing is that like all of that changed and for the good and for the better. So
For the better.
now here's a burning question,
the
like
better.
with all of that, Ubuti, they came back, and also when you have like a record, criminal record, you cannot get employed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
which
that's-
brings me to this thing that I want us to
That's
talk
one
about,
thing.
employment in this village. It's such a sad story to actually hear that. And if maybe you can tell us about a story about even our mind, just a brief about it, because of when I say it's a sad story about employment, it's because of I'm mentioning this man, because it could have given us a lot of young people employment. And adding into that, it has to also go with the guys that have decided to change their lives. You know,
Exactly.
to say we want to do
That's where it
this.
starts. Exactly.
But the employment rate in this village, let's just put the pandemic out.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
Employment rate in this village is so unnecessary.
It was
That's my
always
opinion.
been.
Yeah, that's something that you know we have a lot of organizations or some organizations right here in Mokhaile. Go kgona go nna le skills development. For instance, when I was skills development in Motliki, ba tsere batho ba ba train up paving, bricklaying, plumbing, and all of that.
Sure.
Couple of years later, people have certificates. You train me for getting a skill in that particular trade. You give me a certificate. A couple of years later, clinic you have no VP. And then you are not being considered for the jobs. That's something that I fail to understand. You take your own community to train them. After you certify them and say that they are skilled, you are satisfied with them.
For certain Oh, tsa batho ba bang kwa ntle gape.
And then habata that or protester, which is rightful. You cannot go and hire someone else while you gave me a skill. No skill is already getting us.
Definitely.
And then habata goes and protester go thinking, but okay, the construction must stop. Now people come, the organizers, the contractors. Now they come and start calling people stupid, as if you are holding up development in your own community. And then at
Actually,
that point,
that's a good point.
at that point, they are now they are twisting things. Because to someone who does not know the full story,
Yeah.
you are looking at it from the outside. You read a newspaper. There used to be a newspaper on the outside.
Yeah.
But ba strikela gore clinic ha ba yiri ke clinic ya agriwa by Mr. Project ba clinic store. What are they mad? That's what you put
True.
down as the media.
That is
You
true.
know what I mean?
That is true.
That's something.
At the end of the day, go nna le problem ya gore we don't know where it started. Why did it start? How can you decide to go employ someone on kontle and then while you gave certain skills to people?
Yeah.
That's where I first realized it. The same thing happened with the
There is
mine.
a problem.
Same thing happened with the mine.
There is a
There were learnerships. Learnerships were given out. There's a lot of people from Mokas that benefited from the learnerships.
Sure.
And when you have to be employed, you don't get employed. You don't get employed more mining marona because you don't have experience. You take someone on an apprenticeship for 4 years to train them about a specific job. And then you say they are not capable to do the job
Do
after
the
4
job
years.
after 4 years. So who's at fault? Like in that 4 years, who's at fault? Why Usam Piski listen after those 4 years, I should be equipped enough.
They gave you that skill.
So
That's why
then why am I not employable?
That's the problem.
Because That's the that problem. is experience.
That's the problem. When you go and protest peacefully, and then you get legal, and then you don't want development.
You don't want to.
And then how do you expect to get a job? We had people saying, you expect that we do you even know gore o na le qualifications
What kind of paper should I
like how can you question gore ga na just by assuming gore ha protester he's an A.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that is a problem in employment. There's a
And it
lot of
doesn't mean
people
all
like they do certain jobs that don't require a lot of knowledge before you do it.
Exactly.
Who come from other religions.
I was about to say that.
You know
Exactly.
what I mean? You get a situation in how we do batla America from we have neighboring villages like Kubafuking and stuff like that. They require a proof of residence to show that you are a person from that community.
Yeah.
And how bonolo go create employment if you are outside.
Exactly.
But
But
we cannot do that.
can
dog.
We cannot do
Can't
that.
do that.
They empower
That's
themselves.
the big question. Why we cannot throw as the community of Kubu? Why we cannot
So
control
that is
mind under the constitution? Each and every man in a certain constitution. When you there, you do this for the community, you do this for the community, you do that and that and that. But Rona, we've been just it's again Shayloga Bomb, current fellow, it's in Bali,
And
I don't understand. It's a big question.
You know what happens, man? I've seen it a few times, and I had other people I mentioned. Or you protest. After you protest, ba bona gore go sila se okay ya ra lutor la ring la ra tlhaloganya go tswa di vacancies go tswa di posts. You guys might go and submit your CVs wherever.
Exactly.
And then you take them there. It's very unlikely that next week or 3 days later you are gonna go and protest again.
Yeah.
Why? Because you handed
That's what
in the
happens.
CV.
You
You
must
think
wait.
this is a
When you
process.
vacate.
That's what
Yeah.
happens.
You understand?
What he's talking about, it
At the
happened
end of the day-
three weeks or a month ago.
At the end of the day, you don't hear a lot of people who have been employed. Back in no, you don't hear a lot of people saying that. So now it brings a question, Yahore, are you playing mind games? Are you really serious about this?
Were there even vacancies?
Whether even vacants, do you just want to shut us up for the next 6 months before we get mad again and decide, oh no, this is not right? And then you repeat the same process. And then you repeat the same process.
I'm not gonna say we should mention names, but do we at least as a village have somebody that is standing up there for us that liaises with the mind and the community to stand in for the youth? Because I'd like to believe that at least there should be somebody who is liaising, let's say maybe I don't know, or Maspala, that liaises with the mind. Because as you say, every mind has a certain constitution that you must empower the village, the community, when you have a contract.
Exactly. Even I haven't had a lot of people leadership. I mean leadership. I'm not saying they are not there, but if they are, then they are doing a very good job at it. If you are gonna
You're
stand
not
up and
doing
say
nothing at all.
and say yes, I do live in the mind, then you are doing a very good job.
Exactly.
You are failing your job. You just have one job.
Because
Yes,
how
to
you
look at
go for some village there,
And that is not
to
happening.
build a-
That is just your one job.
build an office there, how your son village on your KG fund.
Yeah.
That office, it was built, it's nice, beautiful, but it never worked. But the intention of that office, it was supposed to be our office. We're supposed to have an HR that knows a lot about the everything that's happening in Leda, who's not employed and whatnot. That office is not working. So it shows you that there's nothing that's supposed to happen. But that office is supposed to work for us.
And I still, it makes me wonder. I don't know if I'll be wrong to say this. Mara, bogosi ba rona bo nang le bone in the village are still questionable. True. When you are the chief, Yamamutsi, and people have been complaining about the same thing for 10 years, and you have the power of Taboneba since you are the chief. Mari, you are not making moves. I'm not saying you are not making moves. But if I don't see the difference in exactly,
Maybe you are moving, but we don't.
we don't see it. You can tell me that you are busy running up and down. That means you're doing a terrible job.
Exactly.
If something so Zamangosa achiever, if you are even trying as a so that should they should really look at themselves. Or what are we doing? What are we even doing? What are we
Also,
even doing?
in addition to what you're saying, I feel like I question leadership myself. And as a kid from this village, that bruh, we need strong leadership. I grew up here. Bruh. I went to the school. It's always been like this.
Exactly.
Nothing has ever changed.
Exactly.
Like nothing has ever changed. And we are growing up. We are young adults growing up trying to build our lives. We still see the same things, the same struggles that our younger brothers and sisters are still facing.
Yeah.
Yet we have a chief. Yet we have a chief that has to be accountable
Exactly.
for the movement, if there is even a movement. But there's nothing. And I totally agree with you. Actually, it's a burning thing that it actually hurts when we talk about it. Like we're still in the same standard that we were
It's very
when we were
frustrating.
just coming up as these kids that are playing, and it's wrong.
It's very wrong.
And the thing is, who do you even go to if you have such issues, if you want to discuss such things? Who do you even go to? Take up these things. Nobody knows.
Nobody
So,
knows.
decide and then when you get there, that's when you get labels because now there's supposedly protocols and procedures and whatnot.
You're supposed to be followed, yeah.
Exactly. Do you understand? But how do you even go about that?
There is a way to go about it. You know, once you start beating the same drum, it's a lead. How you can have someone being in a certain position to do something. It doesn't matter how much you tell them to do their job, as long as they are not doing it, there's not going to be a difference. Even if you can go to the person, that person has to be removed from there. That I'm not saying tshwantse go move you bogosi. Let's just get that clear.
Yeah, you must.
Things
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
hey,
Can just go south.
I'm just accused for
Oh,
teasing.
yeah.
That is teasing.
I'm
I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, ne? What I'm saying is that there has to be people do their jobs. And we live in a democratic country. You as a chief, it's not like because you are a chief, you can just decide that you do what you want and everything is to be fine. No. Molawan tla South Africa, constitution, e tlhakalla ko godimo ga you as the chief and leader. You have to abide by certain rules and certain So you cannot just decide, oh, okay, I'm gonna do this today. I don't care who says what they think. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna lie on my bed for 10 years and
10 years and just,
whoever suffers, that's not my problem. You know what I mean?
But Rahupela we used to have community meetings, but what happened to that?
Division.
I think it's division.
We had people who had different agendas. We meet here in a meeting. We want to achieve a certain goal.
Exactly.
But I have my own agenda.
Exactly.
And I want to achieve certain goals.
So
And
when
there
these
have
trains
been
start
rumors
rolling, then
when a
everybody
certain
separate themselves.
strike was organized, a certain person wants to achieve a certain goal. And then when you realize after a couple of years, now this guy is and then his life
Exactly.
suddenly changed.
Yeah.
Do you
You know what I mean?
understand? Yeah.
Now, then he's gonna start pulling you to one side, you're gonna start pulling to one side, I pull to one side, divide and conquer.
Divided.
How many times has it worked in our, not even in our lifetime, Jay?
But
Jay.
I
That's
think
the-
leader it had a plan. Somebody had a plan, try. As we see that we don't want to mention names. But as the look of things, somebody had a plan. Because they once been the let's say it was one thing so long or nothing, it was sort of a development that was supposed to be given time. Or if it was given time, it was going to be better. Because somebody was building something like a database for us in terms of what's going to come. So as Wisa mentioned, that division killed us. So when that train was start to roll, people start to divide themselves. So we started showing that somebody wants to do these things on themselves for their own beneficiary, not for the community beneficiary. So that's the problem. So now I think I will blame everything to greed and selfish. People are greed and selfish. That's
And
the
you don't
problem
just
we're
see
going
it
through all
at
these
like
things.
community level.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
It's everywhere. I mean, it's
Started
like
right
a
at the
culture,
top.
especially
Right at the top.
in
And that's something that we as the black community, we have to be conscious to. Because that's one thing that is killing us.
Yeah, it is.
That's
killing
one
us.
thing that is killing us as the black community.
The
Already.
community.
The fact that I look at what I can achieve for 50,000 people and I decide screw 50,000 people, I'm just gonna benefit the
That's for
10,000
your
people.
own beneficiary.
You know, once I start deciding that these 10,000 people, keep on never keep on money, no clum back. I think that's really easy. And it's, I don't know how we get there. I don't know how you change your mind and decide for it. I don't care if you live or die. I don't care if you eat or not tonight. As long as I'm in my comfortable bed after I've had sushi.
That's
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
My life just goes so perfect.
I don't know how you get there.
After a millionaire,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But what next
That
door,
is-
I'm gonna shower.
next day I wanna shower at that.
And truth be told, like truth be told, we've had councillors that we've seen, legit saying that. But okay, now you living in this big ass house, but what about us?
And you promised us X, Y, and Z.
Exactly.
Not
We-
only you, you literally stood in front of us and
and you
promised.
told us
Promised
that
us.
we gonna be
This
alright.
is what's gonna happen.
But
And the
seems
most
like,
painful
yeah.
part is that that person will be somebody who you grow up with, somebody who know and understand exactly the situation of where you live in, how's the background. But then once they get promoted to be councillors, they start doing their thing. They certainly forget about where they came from. You understand?
And
That is the most painful thing. Exactly.
Exactly.
For them to be there is
Yeah.
we put a vote for you to go there. But when you get there, you suddenly forget about the people who put you there. I mean, that's something else.
But now, do we have a future as youth of our Ledig village? Do we as young people? What I'd like to actually just talk about also is that I see on socials, we see there's some movements. I've seen about case, but I don't know what's the real story, the real story about that. So I don't want to really talk about the depth of it. But I've seen a bit of movement in terms of people trying to liaise with the guys there at the mine and stuff. But to broaden the question is that as like a whole margin of this village, as youth, are we going somewhere? Is there light at the end of the tunnel, or are we still going another decade of the struggles that we just complain about right now?
You know, I think it's a case ya gore aluta continue. You cannot lie down and admit defeat. As long as you're still living, you're still breathing, and you still want life for the community, you still have to keep fighting and keep pushing. Yes, I can move out of here. I can go buy a house elsewhere, and I can live lavishly there for Sabata. But at the end of the day, there are people that I know personally, that I come across with, the place that I grew up. I still go back to that place and look at it and say, I want to be proud when I come with Machita, when I found wherever, that I found wherever. Let's visit my home. And then you would still know what I know. You would come here Gaga 11 a.m. and you would know that the streets should be empty. People should be at work.
Yes.
People should be running their businesses. People should be in school. People should be in colleges.
Preached.
You understand? So as long as you still have, I think we should still have that fire inside of us. That fire that we want to change the situation. Not only having that, but still come together. Bring our minds together. And decide on what to do. It doesn't make you just have to keep on pushing. Never stop. Because once you stop, that's when your enemies like me. So allow to let people bug them. Keep them on their toes. Tell them they're not doing a good job. They will get tired of hearing that, and eventually something should give. Something should give. I mean, we've all had even worse stories during the struggle. I'm sure there were people who thought, this situation will never change. South Africa, I will never be able to say to another person that we are equal. There are people who thought that would never happen. And those people's lives were in danger. Those people's families' lives were in danger.
Exactly. Yeah, the life back then it was very
So
hard.
comparing the states, I think we have a little bit easier because of the people who fought for us back then.
Exactly.
So we honor them by giving up.
Yeah, so they gave us an example that it is possible.
Yeah.
Our man, if you can fight together, we can do it. So as to say what's happening in leader, we need to be together as the youth. More especially in fight this thing, we can do it. There is a possibility because as the question that you asked right now about the movement, or it was you, that's the movement about the gas were going down. I was part of that movement. You know what happened? Those people, if they see you guys coming, then they give you attention about what you want. So now we're just waiting for answers in terms of when they can deploy. Because we went there the first time, they didn't give us the right answers. We went there the second time, they also didn't give us the right answers. We went there the third time. Then after that, they started saying, you know what guys, we can now settle down. Even though they haven't done much, but then at least there is something positive. They will do something.
Here's what I was thinking actually this morning when we were preparing for this conversation. Like I unconsciously thought that if each and every household or each and every one, like you, whether you're working or not, because at the end of the day we must be united. If we can do like a proper march or march down there and go there and ask the whole community, because most of the time I feel like we're up here.
We did a march.
A lot of us, of our youth, like, we even have a page. I always view that, but I always feel like I want to comment, but I feel like most of us are here.
Exactly.
Let's leave our phones at home, stand up, take a march, even if we have to walk from that distance and then go straight. Each and everybody, the whole, like, there's a lot of us that are unemployed.
They're already working there. In there,
Exactly.
for this day, Jay, we're dedicating it for it. Let us hear what our people are
They
saying.
need to see that, dog. We are serious about this. So, hence, I always, honestly, people are going to listen to you when they see the seriousness of the approach. If each and every household walks out of their house, bruh, and then we go there, whether you have a car, whether you are employed, whether your life is nice or not, you need to support your own because we all from here. And you may be happy today and tomorrow you may fade.
Exactly.
You want us to listen to you now that you're not working now? Is that how it is now? So that's why I'm saying that whether you good, whether you bad, we must just set up a day. There's been a bit of movement. Those people that are watching right now, they have to just try. Let's do something about it. Set up a date, even if it's a month ahead. We know that we're setting up a date that it's tools down in everything. Even if you don't stay here, you can make a day and say, I want to avail myself for this day because of this subconscious movement for change. That is needed. I feel like that is needed. Because at the end of the day, we have to see where we're going with this thing.
So with that said, we need to be
United, you know?
So the big question is why we're not united.
We're going to fix that.
And what we can do to unite us.
Yeah, we have to be generational
those
things.
are the major questions that we have to approach. Why we're not united. And what we can do to unite us.
And the end goal has to be unity. We have to be united and stand with each other because of employment, Joe. You don't want to eat and then you know your neighbor's not eating.
Exactly. Because we say to, when you check guys, the people around this village individually, they are brilliant. You understand? It's one of the wood whereby how fire you can see it. There's a diversion. But individually, the people here are brilliant. Around our land, the culture here, it's living. We just need to be united.
That is so true.
And do what we're supposed to do. Leadership is brilliant. I don't want to lie to you. People here, they know what is what. You understand?
Definitely.
That's what we need. Fair.
Yeah. No, guys, thank you so much for having this conversation with us. Only that thing.
We had to.
You know, it's very crucial issues, and I think, you know, as much as we are all on our phones, it's a platform, you know, to get the movement going, to get it started, to plant it somewhere in someone's head, you know. So we don't know. We'll come up again together. Let it be a movement. It's for me.
I love what you say. Alua continue. That is powerful. We ain't quitting. We fighting. That is so true.
Together we can.
Yeah. Okay, guys, thank you so much